Would you like to work closer to home, save money on gas, and be rewarded for your hard work and attendance? Then Bellisio Foods is looking for you. That's right, Bellisio Foods is now hiring for multiple positions and shifts with great employee benefits, an on-site health clinic, competitive wages, and advancement opportunities. Bellisio Foods is a company that truly values their employees. Apply online at BellisioFoods.com/careers.
Everyone, and welcome to the morning show right here on Main Street TV, where we are here with our good friends. I cannot believe you guys are here this week. Like, you all have lost your ever-loving minds.
We love to be here. It's our favorite place to be.
Oh, well, thank you. You're our favorite guest to have. But no, our friends from OSU Extension, and so we have Josh and Maddie and Avery here, and we're going to be talking about a million different things.
Yes, lots of different things. Lots of great stuff coming up.
Yes, and I cannot believe they are literally, the fair begins this week and you all are here. Have you lost your minds?
Yes.
We don't need to sleep until after the fair. So
So you've got like 10 plus days of just going.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So hard.
Yeah, sleep is for the week. It's fine.
There you go. I love that. So no, this is so fun, and we always enjoy having you here on the show. And Josh is back. We kicked him out the last time.
Yeah,
didn't we?
no boys were allowed last time.
That's
so.
right. It was no boys allowed. And then Avery is here, and you are an intern.
Yes.
This summer. So welcome back.
Thank you.
Happy to have you.
We haven't scared her off yet. We're trying, but
Well, you're one less intern today, but I was like, oh no. But she's a little under the weather. So
Yeah,
that's okay.
yeah.
She-
We didn't run her off.
we
She's
didn't
just a
run
little under the weather. Yep.
We didn't kick her out or anything. So what do you all have going on? Because I mean, there's so much stuff.
Yes. Yeah. I don't know if you want to start or you want me to start.
I'll let
or-
you start.
All right. So we've got a lot of different things today. First of all, Fair Week is upon us. So
Can you believe
I
it?
know the Jackson County Fair technically starts on Friday with harness racing. So we're here to talk a little bit about, I know Senior Fair Board might be coming in sometime soon, but we're here to kind of talk about some of the things on our end that we do at the fair and what that looks like for us. And we brought you guys some materials to look at too. But just talking about some of the things that have already happened for the fair and then some things that are coming up. Because it seems like our fair is kind of non-traditional in the fact that it's kind of spread out
And
over
there are
a couple of
activities
weeks. And
that happen that aren't necessarily at fair time.
yes. So we started on Sunday, the 7th, with our Skillathon contest. So Skillathon we brought back for the first time in several years last year. And then this year we probably doubled our participants this year. We had a lot of kids
What is
try it
that?
out. So Skillathon is a test of your knowledge. So it's not mandatory. It's optional for the kids. They get some really cool prizes. And so they come in. We have stations for every species, and they can come through, and it's kind of like a test. So there's poster boards of the parts of a lamb or the cuts of meat or different grooming equipment and things that you need for that animal.
Is this similar to Showman of Showman, kind of, but everybody can participate?
Yes, kind of. But Showman of Showman is more hands-on with the animals and like
see.
your ability to show that animal, whereas Skillathon is your knowledge directly on the table. So they fill out, they label the breeds and they label a medication label and it's a lot of labeling and putting your knowledge to test on paper. And so they compete those scores against each other, and then they compete for some really cool prizes. So those awards will be announced this Sunday at our 4-H awards ceremony. So Skillathon was Sunday from noon to 4. It was really great. We had a lot of cool participants. I think they did a really great job. And Skillathon is a cool event where they get to learn more about animals. So when I was a kid in 4-H, I showed rabbits. That was what I showed every year in 4-H. But I always did Skillathon for all of the other species so I could learn more about them.
Love that.
And so that's what we've done with our kids in this county. And we have kids that compete in every species class just to see what they know, to see how well they do. And sometimes we have kids win that don't even exhibit those animals. So
That's
it's really
pretty
cool. Yep. Excuse me.
So you didn't announce the winners.
Nope.
Oh,
So
they
we
have to wait and see how they did.
It takes us some time. They turn in score sheets, so we have to take those score sheets and type them onto an Excel sheet and then total them up, and it takes a little bit of time. So I don't know. I can't tell you.
I was trying to get breaking news.
I
here.
know. I don't have it yet. I probably wouldn't know off the top of my head because we have 9 categories. So
Oh.
there are 9 species. So all of your typical livestock, beef, dairy, goats, lambs, and then we also do horses and dogs as well. So it's like rabbits, poultry, beef, dairy, goats, lambs, horses, dogs, swine.
And poultry.
I did poultry. Yeah. So there's nine species, and then there's a junior and a senior winner. So like your 8 to 13-year-olds aren't competing against your 14 to 18-year-olds. So it's a lot that goes into it. So it's a lot of
Hard.
tabulating scores and kind of sorting everybody out.
But
But
what interns get to do.
yes.
I don't want to talk about it.
So then moving on, Sunday evening, the 7th, we did our carcass contest. And I know you said you guys were talking about it the other day on air.
We very uneloquently, as a word, talked about it. I'm not. We were having a hard time coming up with words to describe the carcass contest.
Well, maybe Josh and I can help you come
Yeah,
up with
you-
some words.
Go for it.
So the carcass show is actually one of my favorite actual shows that we do here in Jackson County. It's something brand new we kind of brought back just last year. So it's a partnership between Circle M Meats. So what they do is they'll come in on Sunday, which they've already done, and they'll show their animals. So they actually go out, they show their beef, and then we actually added swine this year. So we actually had 2 participants with swine this year. So they'll go out and they'll show them, and then they'll judge them,
Alive.
place them,
Mm-hmm.
live judging. They'll go and they'll show them, they'll place them, and they get all the placings, and then they get loaded up and they get taken to Circle M Meats to be processed. And then actually this Saturday, right? So this Saturday
at 3:00 at Circle M.
at Circle M, they're going to go and they're actually going to be able to show up and go in and see the actual carcass hanging. So we're going to be able to explain to them, this is what you did and how you did it right, to show the different cuts of meats, what could have been improved on, what could have been, changed. And then they're actually going to get a different scoring. So just because you placed first or second in the actual live show does not mean you're going to get first or second in the carcass part.
Isn't that wild?
So the carcass part's kind of going on carcass quality, carcass grade. So it's really going off of different factors in the live one, kind of showing that, it's really hard to judge an animal by looks and by feel. But, once we have them processed and hanging, we can actually see more of what we did right and who really had the best carcass quality.
Yeah, it's wild because that is the market class
Yes.
at the fair.
Yes.
You have a judge looking at this particular animal and grading it, knowing that animal looks like it would have the best meat or whatever, but it isn't necessarily the truth.
Yes.
Right. And one thing that I really, really like about the carcass shows, because agricultural fairs, they were started as to show off what the agriculture industry was actually doing. So,
Like, look what I created or what I raised. Yeah.
Right. So people went to agriculture fairs saying, this is the genetics of my beef. Here, look at it. These are the different types of crops we're growing. This is how we're doing it better. So this is actually a really good snapshot of what the Jackson County agricultural producers are producing in the area. So that's why I really like this contest, because it's a really good snapshot of what's going on out in our community.
Let me ask you the obvious question that's bouncing around in my brain. And so, listen, all the kids have trouble selling their animals on Friday. Like, we know that, and it's sad. And you've raised them for however long, and you get emotionally attached to them, whatever. But then they leave on the big truck, and you never see them again.
Yeah.
So out of sight, out of mind kind of deal. When they come back and they see the carcass, how does that affect the kids?
I think last year, so what we do with the carcass class is we do ahead of the fair in the spring, we do a carcass class information session. So all of those kids who are even interested in participating in the carcass class come to that information night, and we walk them through the process, and we talk about carcass grading and different grades and things like that, and the importance of feeding your animal correctly and what that looks like from step A to, or point point A to point B. And so that night in the spring, I think, puts it into perspective for them that they're going to see this animal from start to finish. And it's nice because we have exhibitors that they breed these animals. They watch these calves hit the ground in the spring, and then
Right.
they raise them all the way through until the end. And so it's a full circle moment for them and a learning experience for them as producers because they get to see it from literally start to finish. I don't know if you have any other comments on that.
Yeah, there are producers this year that participants in the carcass show that did that full circle moment.
So
They
that
raised that calf.
animal hit the ground
that
at their
calf.
farm,
Yes.
and then
Yes,
okay.
Right,
they
so-
bred the cow themselves. I mean, they did it all, and
That's
so it's a
interesting.
very full circle moment for them to be able to see that.
Is this just for 4-H members, or can anyone participate in that event?
Junior fair exhibitors, so FFA, 4-H, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
But
Cool.
yeah,
There you go. You guys put it way better than Cheryl and I went. What'd you say? Got unalived? I mean, we could not come up with the words, so you all did a much better.
it's all part of that agricultural process, right? And
It
so,
is. So yeah, steaks don't come from Walmart.
no, yeah,
Like, I mean, they do,
and
but there's a whole process to get them.
behind that. And so you mentioned, so many kids go through the county fair, they put that animal, they go through the sale, they put that animal on a truck, and then they don't see the final product. And so that's why we like the carcass class so much, because they do get to see that final product. And oftentimes they get to take that final product home. They take, they buy back that animal and they get to grill steaks that evening and actually get to eat that animal too and feed their families with that project. So it's a really neat full circle learning experience for those kids.
Super cool.
And Dr. Lyda Garcia, she's a meat scientist at Ohio State, probably the #1 meat scientist in the country. And we're so lucky to have her. She comes down and helps judge our carcass class.
Kidding.
And she does just an excellent job of really getting hands-on with those kids and teaching them why,
That is so cool.
why their animal placed first in the ring, but maybe didn't, in the carcass grading and what that looks like. And it was a really great experience.
Is this a normal thing for county fairs, or are we kind of
Yeah, so there's
unique?
I know specifically Scioto County, they do it. Pike County does it.
Yeah,
So
lots
this
of
is-
northern county fairs do it. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's not anything new, but I wouldn't say all counties have it.
Yeah.
There's not every single county has this program. But I would say if you haven't heard Lyda Garcia talk, you can listen to her all day and not get bored. She's a great speaker, especially if you like the any type pork, beef, any type of meat industry. She's the person to listen to.
Awesome.
She rocks. Yep.
Very
So
cool.
if you're not doing anything on Saturday, come out to Circle M Meats. I know the first
Everybody's welcome to come.
everyone's welcome.
That's
So they'll
really cool.
they'll take the exhibitors back first and do the whole information session, kind of making it a little more personable, and then they'll do a second session where the whole public's allowed to come back and
Interesting.
see everything.
Plus, you get to see Circle M, which is really cool
Yeah.
too.
Right.
Yes. Yeah.
a great industry here in Jackson County. So.
Yeah. So that was our carcass contest. So again, they were processed on Sunday, and then they'll be able to be viewed on this upcoming Saturday at 3:00. But then, let's see, other things coming up in our fair. The last couple of nights, our 4-H clubs have been decorating their booths. So when you visit the fair, don't forget to look in the 4-H building there and see all of our booths. That's where all of our
Plus,
kids.
there's air there.
There is air conditioning in there. But that's where all of our kids who take non-livestock projects or general projects exhibit their projects as well. So if you want to support those kids, that's where their welding, their woodworking, their scrapbooking, all of those projects will live during the week of the fair for display. So
In the air conditioning.
in the air conditioning. So make sure you go check out the booths and support those kids as well. What's today? Today's Wednesday. So tomorrow is Thursday, and tomorrow is our 4-H dog show.
Fun.
Yes, I know. So if you didn't know, you can show dogs through 4-H.
Yes.
So we have a 4-H club in Jackson County called the Canine Clovers,
Oh.
and the Canine Clovers put on their dog show usually the week before the fair, because the fair is just crazy for dogs, right? Dogs aren't allowed on the fairgrounds. So their dog show will be tomorrow evening at the Extension office at 6 p.m. And anybody...
He's actually told us about
Yes, yeah, because
participate.
they're gonna, yeah. So anybody is welcome to go support those dog show kids. Show them some love. They've been working all year on training these dogs and teaching them to do the tricks and do the things that they need to do during their dog show. And so come out and visit, and learn a little bit about showing dogs, because it's an interesting thing to watch and see them in their process. So
Trust us, all of our dogs that we just have laying around on the couch wouldn't win.
my dog would not, I tell you that right now. But yes, so they work really hard all year to train their dogs. We had several dog exhibitors win awards at the state fair this year too.
Awesome.
So we're excited to recognize them at our 4-H awards too, and it'll just be a really great show. So don't forget to go out and support them. And then Friday and Saturday, our fair begins. We've got harness racing and all kinds of really fun stuff. So take a look at your fair schedule. I brought a couple here today. So these are hanging around different local businesses. The Senior Fair Board has put these out. We have some at the Extension office if you want to pick one up. We also have handy dandy little pocket schedules. So if you want
nice.
to stick one in your pocket, it's got the little schedule right in here that you can hold on to. And then also you can pick up your 2024 Jackson County Fair book. Here's mine with all my fancy little tabs. And
She's so organized.
but if you're looking for rules or more information, or maybe your business has put an ad in and you want to have that, you can pick up a fair book at most local businesses, or we have a whole box of them at the Extension office. You can grab one there too.
Cool.
So if you're looking for information about the fair, it's all here. It's also on social media on the Jackson County Fair page. You can also follow us at Jackson OSU Extension. We share it all and try to get stuff posted out there as well. So,
Right.
but yeah, so our 4-H awards ceremony is going to be Sunday at 5 p.m. And so that's where all of our non-livestock awards will be handed out. Our Skillathon awards. I don't even know what else. All kinds of awards. We do a senior recognition, a graduating Cloverbud recognition.
Oh,
I know, for the second grade Cloverbuds who will be 4-H members next year.
and that is not at the grandstand. It's down at the show arena, right?
Yeah, usually down in the show arena. And then afterwards, they will be moving to the grandstands for their 4-H fun night. So last year we weren't able to have a 4-H fun night. So this year we're bringing it back and better than ever. So our clubs will be participating in lip sync contests and outhouse races. They're doing a greased pig contest, all kinds of really great stuff. So come on out to the Junior Fair Fun Night and support that and support those kids. And it'll be a really funny
Literally, yeah.
experience. And I'm excited to see my first fun night. So I'm really excited.
Do you get to ride in an outhouse?
I don't think so. Maybe, I don't know. We'll
Oh,
see.
you didn't know?
We're actually putting her in just a used porta potty. So.
Oh,
There you
gosh.
go. Sean, yeah.
After this, I'll be done. I've been talking a long time.
Oh, you're fine.
Monday is our opening ceremony. So it's kind of odd this year. We have Monday morning our poultry show, and then we actually open the fair at 5. So Monday morning is the poultry show. It starts at 8 a.m. And then there's the Rock This Life event, which is the drug addiction and prevention program. There's going to be a lot of really cool stuff. I know DJ Rockin' Reggie's going to be up there.
I think they're going to come in tomorrow, right?
I
to
think
talk about
I
that?
think so. I think they're talking about it tomorrow. So come out and check that
Super
out.
cool event.
It's Free Kids Day that day, so bring out your kids. But then our fair opening ceremony is going to be at 5 o'clock that night. I think in the show arena. Last year it was in the show arena. So that's where we will officially open up our fair. We will do senior scholarship awards. We've got some other miscellaneous awards to hand out, like our booth decorating contests, things like that. And then typically we have, local officials come out and speak a little bit. So you don't want to miss the opening ceremonies because it's usually a really great program. You hear a little bit of history on the fair. And then you get to see some really great kids get recognized for the works that they do.
Exactly.
So, but yeah, then the rest of the week is on the schedule. You've got livestock shows, different competitions, different things that the fair board's putting on that I'm sure they'll share with you tomorrow.
Oh, man.
But yeah, don't forget to just come out this week and support the fair, including the livestock sale, which is on Friday starting at 3 o'clock. So.
Yeah, that kind of is the whole point.
Yes.
As we come full circle, yeah.
So those one of the carcass animals will be sold in the sale. We'll have a hog and a market steer available, one of those carcass animals. And then just all throughout the week, there's different things going on. Avery's going to talk to you guys a little bit about some of the stuff that our interns are going to be offering during the week of the fair.
Yay!
And then Josh will talk to you guys a little bit about what he's got going on too. So I'm done.
Very cool, though. No, I love that. So what's going on, girlfriend?
So we had our STEM camp in
Yes.
June, and I think it went really well. We taught some different food science activities, taught them how to make ice cream.
And what did you learn about making ice cream, Avery?
So we learned that if you make ice cream, you should do it outside. Not on personal experience. We just figure that's probably a good idea.
Is that really?
No, actually, so we had kids, was it 3rd to 5th grade?
For 5th through 7th
5th
grade.
through 7th, so kind of, some still kind of young, and it was a mess by the time we were done.
But it was so
But
fun.
yeah, they really enjoyed it, and I think it went well. And then we also taught them how to do bread and butter and the science behind that.
Oh, cool.
So they really enjoyed that, and I think most of them liked to eat their product after they made it. So that went good. So going off of STEM again, which is what we mostly do, during the week of the fair, every day, Meredith and I are going to be doing a different activity. It's for youth of any age. They don't have to be in 4-H or anything, so they can just,
cool.
yeah, so there's our schedule. So we're going to be doing how to make a homemade thermometer. So we're going to teach them science behind temperature and why that changes and stuff like that. And then on Tuesday, we're going to do a Sphero challenge. So the Spheros are like little electronic spheres, and you control them with iPads. We have big maps that replicate like a field that you would plant soybeans or corn or anything in. And this particular challenge is soybeans. So they get different materials and have to build like, it would be like a planter. And they use their Spheros to drive their planter and see how, you would actually plant if it were a real field. So we did that at
Cool.
STEM camp too, and they really liked that. And a lot of the kids liked like the educational basis behind it too, and had questions. And some of them said they had farms at home and kind of related to it. So
That
we
makes
found,
sense.
yeah, we found that was a really good activity. Not only was it fun, but it was one that they kind of actually cared to learn about.
Yeah.
So then Wednesday, we're going to be doing magnetic slime, which I think it's really cool. It's basically regular slime, but you put like iron oxide powder to cause it to be more magnetic. So
Okay.
we'll have magnets for them, and they'll be able to
fun.
mess around with that, and we'll teach all the science behind that too. And then Thursday, they're going to be making a lemon volcano. What? So,
Yeah, they're cool.
yeah. So somehow I think it's the like acid in the lemon, and it causes it to
With the baking soda.
yeah, with baking soda, and it makes like a volcano effect. So they should have fun with that one, and then we'll teach them like why it did what it did and blew up and stuff like that too. So
Fun. Okay, so all kids like to blow stuff up.
yeah.
So that's going to be great.
It's not going to explode.
just
it's
like-
it's more gonna be like your regular like vinegar and baking soda reaction, like just a little like.
Yeah, you just wait. I'll bet somebody gets theirs to blow up.
Oh,
Yeah.
we'll see.
We'll see, but that should be fun for them to learn the science behind. And like you said, kids like if they hear they can blow up stuff, or like she said, it's not really that, it's just the reaction, but that'll be fun. And then our final activity is on Friday. We'll be teaching them how to make a cloud in a jar. So you take a mason jar, and it's similar to what we did with our activity with the lava lamps. And so yeah, they use food coloring and different stuff, and we'll teach them like why does it react that way when you put it in water and all that.
So how and where do the kids find you to participate?
So we will be at the Junior Fair building.
The 4-H building where the
4-H
booths
building,
are. Yep.
The one with the air conditioning.
Yes. So
Is it the same time every day?
No. So if you pull up that schedule
Yeah.
again, I think it should say
it
on that
is
schedule.
mostly yeah, so
Yeah.
like Monday 11, Tuesdays at 2, Wednesdays 3, and then 4 on Thursday, 11 again on Fridays.
Okay.
So I know they tried to schedule them between shows or like between different like other events happening in the schedule. So just make sure that you watch the times of those events every day,
Okay.
and they'll have that schedule posted around the fairgrounds too. Yep,
Awesome. No, that's really cool. Good
Yeah.
for you.
I'm
We're
excited.
excited about
In the
it.
midst of all the other stuff you get to do
Yes.
during this
Yes.
time, right?
But no, in all seriousness, I feel like activities like that are things that we don't really get to provide during the week of the fair, just because we are so busy. And so it's nice to have a couple of interns this summer, a couple of
Yeah,
extra hands to be
extra
able,
hands.
to be able to offer things that we don't normally get to offer. So I know when I interned in other counties when I was in college, I did stuff like that during the week of the fair, and it was always super fun, and the kids loved it. And I feel like in the mornings, or the early afternoon before the rides open, kids are looking for something to do, and so we are giving them that by these activities. So I'm excited.
It's a nice welcome break from the barns or
Yes, yeah.
everything that you're freaking out about throughout
Yes.
the week. And,
Right.
Yeah.
it's just a nice little something fun to do.
Yes, you're exactly right.
And I assume that's free, right?
Yes. Yep.
Yes.
All free, provided through our grant that Avery and Meredith, our interns, are on this summer.
Deal.
Yeah.
Love that.
Anything else, Avery? Any other STEM stuff we've got going on?
I don't think so.
Yeah, we're gonna put out information later. We've got a Clover Bud camp that we're doing in August. A
Fun.
back to school kind of themed Clover Bud day camp where kids, the Clover Buds, can come for a day, and we'll do some fun stuff with them before they go back to school for the year. So be on the lookout for that. But other than that, stay on the lookout for fair related content. We've got a lot of really great stuff planned for this week and next week for the Jackson County Fair, and don't forget to come out and say hi. And
Exactly.
I love an iced coffee during the week of the fair. If you're looking to support,
Wink.
if you're looking to support a tired 4-H educator,
Bring
but-
this girl some coffee.
but in all reality, the kids have worked so hard all year. They meet, monthly or even more than monthly with their clubs. They have to complete quality assurance and different requirements, and are just constantly hearing from me, I know, all the time about you need to do this and you need to do that. And so I don't think anybody realizes that 4-H is year round, and these kids are working
It is.
all year long for this 1 week. And so this is their big week. This is their game day. So come out and support them during this, because they definitely deserve it.
Yeah, they do. You're not kidding.
But that's it from me. Josh, what do you got?
Yeah, so it's summertime, so everybody's gardens are out and getting a lot of
And, like-
produce off that I've been
And
seeing.
they're choking to death, but that's beside the point at this moment.
So I know the farmers market, they've started back up. So if you
Yeah.
haven't been to the farmers market, definitely check it out
Amazing.
and get you some fresh fruit and vegetables. So I know the Beaver Valley produce auction down at the border of Jackson and Pike counties, they're up and running. So if you haven't seen that, it's definitely something to go check out. Something really cool. It's Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And
Okay.
they start at 11. So it's definitely something, even if you don't plan on buying anything, definitely something to go out on a nice day and just see all the produce that they have, all the stuff that's going on that's, you might not just see out on the street.
And it's been locally grown.
Right. All of it's been locally grown here in Jackson or just right across the border in Pike County. So it's all very close in that community.
And when are the farmers market and the auctions? When are the times? Like, when are they open for
So
people?
the farmers market's every Saturday
9 to
until
9 to noon or
Noon
something.
I think 9 to noon or
Yeah.
9 to 1.
And
something
then
like that.
the produce auction, like I said, Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays they start at 11 a.m. and then it's whenever they end, typically around 1, 2 o'clock. So be sure to check that out. But
Very cool.
at the extension office, we got some exciting projects going on. So we have a pollinator garden. So in our pollinator garden, we have all different types of plants, too many to even keep track of. So I've got some coneflowers, I've got some mountain mints. There's some
Love that.
pictures of it there. And if you go to like my mountain mint, you can actually see just the honeybees just on it, going all over it. They love it. It's just, it's
Isn't it
crazy how
so
much they crawl on it.
Fun, and you're just like I didn't realize those flower boxes that I planted out front of the Sixth Sense.
Yes.
When I go to water them every morning, I mean, there are just millions, I feel
Yes.
like, of bees on there. And I'm like,
Yes.
I love you guys.
Right.
Like, yeah.
So those bigger plants that
Love
we
that.
have there, those are plants we got from a grant last year. So those are the ones that's been, just 1 year. 1 year
Wow.
age, so they're really
They
jumping
look
up.
great.
And we've planted some on the outside. You see the little small ones down there. Those are the ones that we planted this year. So those ones are more of the name behind it was hummers and stingers. So it's kind of like more of a bird pollinator. So having those birds go to those different ones.
Look at your
Um,
sunflowers.
we
Aren't
tried
they
some-
beautiful?
You're lovely.
So at the extension office, we got 3 different raised beds. We got through Grow More Good grant. So all these are grant funded. So we didn't have to spend anything for it, which is awesome. So those are our sunflowers that we grew. Those sunflowers came from our Victory Garden seeds. So if you were able to get Victory Garden seeds in the spring, that's kind of what they were looking like.
Super cool.
Over there, we got our cucumbers that we're going to show you a little bit today. We got
Yeah.
cucumbers coming everywhere. So underneath all the cucumbers, you can see the cinder block raised beds. Kind of hard to see, but we've got cucumbers and squash over there, and they're just growing.
Just never stop.
They just lose their minds, don't they?
Right. And then over there, we have what we water it by. So, we've went through a really dry stretch in June. So my rain barrel actually got completely dry, but we have a rain barrel system that's hooked to the gutters.
Which is the most amazing thing to water
Right.
things with.
Right. And we got
It's
a
Mother Earth taking care of itself,
Yeah.
right, and it's definitely reusing all the water we have. We got a little system where it just goes through a hose into the rain barrel, and like I said, it's only been dry once, which we went a good while without any rain. Plus, it was clogged up, and I didn't realize it until it rained, and I was like, "Where's my water at?" So I had to take everything apart and do that. But we also got some lettuce that's been growing, but they're cool season, so they're kind of all burnt up. We had some peas growing, so they're also cool season, so they're also kind of burnt up. But we've got all these vegetables here. So we've got different types of cucumbers. We've got squash. So this is just a small
Look how
squash that we
cute.
had,
There's
a regular
zucchini in
yellow
there.
squash. Find the zucchini. We have one singular zucchini that's underneath all the cucumbers.
I love zucchini though, so it's
I do
probably
too.
because I've eaten them all.
And we
I was
had
going to tell you that Tanya yesterday had made homemade zucchini bread and brought it to all of us in here. And I'm going to tell you, zucchini bread is like my downfall.
I just made some the other day, and
It's so good.
I love it. I love it.
But we get all these fruits and vegetables from the garden. So and what we do with them is, since it's a community garden, we just kind of leave it out. Anybody that comes and visits us at the extension office, if we have some, you're more than welcome to take whatever you want.
That is
so,
so cool.
It's not a whole lot, but if you come in, we've got cucumber, squash, we'll give them to you because I'm tired of eating all this. There's a lot of stuff.
There's only so much healthy I can be.
Right. So we need more visitors. Come visit us, get some fruit, vegetables, take whatever you want. Like we said, we had lettuce. We had lettuce everywhere. We had
Oh,
bags
so
and
much
bags of
lettuce.
lettuce, just
Oh,
throwing lettuce
really?
at people trying to get them to take it. So come out and see us. Look at the sunflowers. They're really pretty. So we're rolling through there with the
So with the
gardening.
sunflowers, can you save the seeds from them for like next year? How does that work?
I think it depends on the variety. I'd have to look into it to see what variety we have, because through our Victory Garden seeds, I don't think they told us what type we have. So I'd have to do a little more research, but most likely, yeah, you're going to be able to, as long as there's nothing genetically modified in the seed where they're not.
Or the birds haven't
Or
gotten
the
to it.
birds haven't eaten. Yeah.
Birds.
But that's okay too, because when the birds drop the seeds, one way or the other, there will be a sunflower grow wherever that is.
You're right. You're right.
But other than gardening, so we've got a lot of programs coming up after the fair. So once the fair is over, we can kind of start focusing more on them. But in August, we have Beef and Forage Field Night. So it's actually going to be on August 22nd this year.
And what is that?
So Beef and Forage Field Night's something that we've always done at the Extension Office / the Research Farm. So it's in cooperation with the Jackson County Research Farm, which they do a bunch of different research on rotational grazing, synchronization with the cattle, right now we're doing a research looking at the different heights of grass. So we have a different strips that are cut 6 to 8 inches, and we've got a strip that's cut down to 3 inches.
Okay.
So me and Avery's actually been doing. I've been making Avery do some of the work too, and
Drive the
Meredith.
tractor?
No. I
No,
just get to
we
measure
take them
it.
outside and we make them measure it. So we go down, we measure the grass, the
This
different
is
heights
3
of it.
inches and 1/8 you must mow.
Yep. So we're measuring the height of it. We're measuring how much we cut on it, and we're measuring the bale weights and how much bale we get. So they just recut it. So we're back to square one, but we're gonna remeasure it, make sure we're keeping track of all the heights. And at the end of the year, we're gonna look at that, put it all together, and see does it make sense to cut your hay or cut your grass really low whenever you're baling hay, or whether you should leave it around 6 to 8 inches, or any type of higher height to see which
Kind of
grows
just
better.
top it off and then let it go again.
Right.
Kind of thing.
Right.
And so this is really cool. Like, and I don't know if people, because they live here and they just don't pay attention to it. But if you drive, I drive by the extension office daily because I live on Standpipe Road. So, and whether you're driving down like McCarty Lane or you're driving down Standpipe or whatever, that's all that property. But you can see the rotation of the cattle, and there's, I think, lambs out there, and one day they'll be here and one day they'll be there. That's all. There's a method to that madness of you all doing research and
Right.
trying to figure out what's best for them and all of that.
And a lot of the research projects are coming straight from Ohio State, the actual university. So we have a bunch of graduate students who have different types of research projects. We have professors out there doing different types of research projects. That's a little bit about what they do. But Beef and Forage Field Night, what we're doing is we kind of inform the public about new topics in beef, new topics in forage management. So we've got all different types of programs set up. My mind's focused on fair, so I don't have those right off the top of my head. But right after fair, we're going to be sending out information on our Facebook page to some of our producers that we've seen in the past. And then in the September, we've got Farm City Field Day. So Farm City Field Day with the Farmers Club. So that's going to be out on 4 Mile this year. So we've got a beef operation there. So it's going to be really good to see that.
Fun.
We have Farm Science Review again in September. So Farm Science Review is going to pop up. We'll be up there for a whole week up in London, Ohio. If you've never been to Farm Science Review, it's just a big trade show with a bunch of different tractors, producers, a bunch of vendors up there. And then in October, we've got Beef AI School. So it's beef artificial insemination. So it's going to be hands-on learning where participants can come out and learn how to AI different beef cattle. So we've got a lot coming up once fall hits.
Interesting.
But
So my crazy months are May, June, and July with 4-H. We've got camps and we're prepping for fair, and it's crazy. Josh's crazy months are August, September, and October. So
You guys are basically crazy 6 months out of
yes.
together.
And it's really nice because, Josh does a lot of hands-on stuff, with camp and with fair, and we're super happy to have him. And then, once the fall hits, I do a lot of stuff, helping hand out water and sell tickets and doing stuff for Ag Days and his different events. So we try to support each other, and it's really nice to have a 4-H program and an Ag program who support each other's programs and make it happen. So that crazy 6 months, our office is go, but we make it work. We make it happen.
and to have 2 student interns
I was
make
gonna
it-
say,
Yeah.
and you have interns, which are 4 more extra hands to help out along the way.
So we're constantly thinking like, okay, so our interns go back to school in middle of August. So what can we do to prepare ourselves? Like, how can we use them so they're still making an impact 6 months from now? Like, but yeah, they're doing a lot of really great stuff. We're pretty proud of them.
So what have you, Avery? What have you learned? Like, what are some of the cool things that maybe surprised you as far as your internship, or like maybe things you've learned that you were like, oh man.
I think for me, like I grew up in 4-H and was involved for 13 years with showing animals and doing other projects, going to camps and stuff. But I think I've learned a lot about what all goes into that behind the scenes, rather than just like being the one with the project or going to the camp or, doing the
Okay.
things like that. I knew like it was a lot to put on and a lot behind everything, but actually being like helping do that and make stuff happen, and it's like really cool to see how it all like comes together and stuff.
That makes sense. So, it's like what we keep saying, like these fairs and festivals and things don't just magically appear. There's a
Right.
whole army of people behind the scenes putting them on, whether it be the Jackson County Fair, Gallia, or whatever, or the Apple Festival or the Wild Turkey Festival or whatever. Like, you don't see that part of it, but there's a lot of work involved in
Yes.
it.
And I will tell you, you know, all of those things, you know, your fairs and your festivals, your 4-H programs, they need volunteers.
Yes.
And so
There's never too many.
yeah, so when, you know, people look at these events that are happening, you know, these festivals, these fairs, these celebrations and things like that, ask yourself how you might be able to lend a hand or get involved with your community, because they are desperate for volunteers and there's no such thing as too much help. And so as you're looking at, you know, the Apple Festival, the Turkey Festival, the 4th of July, you know, the fair, 4-H, whatever it might be, see if you can get involved in any way and help out, because they need it. They absolutely need it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that, you know, it would be really rewarding. And also, you know, it's kind of like, I'm sure for you, kind of like paying it forward. Because,
Yeah.
you know, we were all in 4-H and we all participated. And there was somebody that worked really, really hard to make sure that, you know, my horse show went off without a hitch, or, you know, your rabbit show or whatever. And it's like, oh, now kind of pay back for all the hard work that people did.
Right. And it's a lot of
Me out.
it's a lot of thanking those volunteers and, you know, the 4-Hers, because one big thing we brought back this year was project book judging. So, you know, that would have been really hard to do without Avery and Meredith, hard to do without all the volunteers, and hard to do without all the kids, because you know,
That was
there's
always terrifying for me.
it's a lot, you know, working on this whole book when you're not used to doing a whole book, going in and talking to a stranger about
Yeah,
your
like
book.
getting interviewed about what you're supposed to have gleaned from this book that you may or may
Yeah.
not have.
But look at your job now.
True that.
I mean, what are you doing right now at this very current moment? And how did 4-H prepare you for what you're doing right now?
Oh gosh,
You
so
know?
much.
Yeah.
Well, and I talked about this yesterday with the folks from the Fair Board. Is you know, there are life lessons that you've learned in 4-H that you will never forget. And my not positive one was being, and I told this story yesterday, and it will never happen to me again. It came down to myself and another girl for grand champion in showmanship in the horse arena. And the judge was having a hard time because we were both killing it. And she literally walked up and said, "Name 3 parts of your horse from front to back." And I froze. Froze. Like nothing would come out of my mouth. And the other girl just rattled it off in like 1 second flat, and she won and I didn't. And I got out of the arena and I thought, I cannot believe that I just let that happen to myself. Like, but it will never happen again. But that is something that's like ingrained in here that 4-H taught me not to get caught off guard like
Well,
that
and
ever again.
I tell people all the time, you know, 4-H teaches kids to win, but it also teaches them to fail, right?
Absolutely. And to
And-
learn, and I think more importantly, to
Yes.
learn from that.
To learn from that and use that for moving forward. So absolutely.
I think there's so many things that went wrong that I learned so much more from. I'm sure you all would say this.
Yes, absolutely.
Than the things that went right.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. So
But
yeah, I think that 4-H is invaluable. I think it's wonderful. I think about all the people that I know that I wouldn't have known otherwise, and it's just really cool.
Yep.
There's nothing bad. I can never I don't know. I just think it's wonderful.
Yep. So
Or
we're
FFA or
Yes.
whatever
Yeah,
organization
yeah.
that you're in. It's all the same.
So we're really excited for the fair this week. I'm also excited to take a vacation after fair is over. But like I said, just come out and support these kids. 4-H, FFA, all of these kids work really hard. Again, they had to do things this year that they are not used to. They did project book judging and things, and so they've put in the work, they've put in the time. So come out and support them. Watch their shows, cheer them on, buy at the sale, you know, add on whatever it is that you can do to support these kids. They've worked so hard this year. And we just hope that we see you at the fair this week.
Yeah, please come out and support. And listen, it's been hot. This has
Yes.
been a rough summer so far.
Yes.
And,
Yeah.
you know, it's one thing to have to raise the animals or do the projects or whatever, but to do it in extreme conditions is a whole other situation.
Yes.
And let's be honest, the fair is rough on the animals.
Yes. Yes.
Getting them there, keeping them comfortable.
Yes.
Where they're out of their element.
Yes.
You know, we're nervous as humans. You think about how they feel. They
Yeah.
don't know where they're at. They're around noises and
Mm-hmm.
things that they're not used
Yeah,
to.
the fair can be a weird environment. And I do know that lots of our kids, they have struggled with the heat and losing animals and just dealing with weight, keeping weight on their animals and things. So again, I mean, these kids, I just can't explain enough like how much that they have dealt with this year with this heat and no rain. And again, just they've worked so hard. So come out and support them because it's worth it.
do, and tell them good job
Yes, that's what they need to hear. Yeah. Yeah.
to keep them to keep them going. They just need to hear that. So.
Mhm, absolutely.
Well, guys, is there anything else that you wanted to say while you're here?
No,
I know you guys are a little busy.
we're going to go back and we're going to start putting stuff together for the fair and keep on trucking along with our mile-long to-do list. And but thank you for having us on the show this month. And
Thank you.
we're excited to see you guys at the fair next week. And then we'll see you in August.
Yeah, there you go. We'll do some fun things in August.
Yep,
and,
absolutely.
So we appreciate you all stopping by.
Of course. Thank you, guys.
Okay.
We'll let Pete take over here. I know.
Yeah, Pete's here, and let's hear a message from our friends at Vinton County Bank. We'll be right back.
At Vinton County National Bank, we believe in supporting the areas where we live and work. Now, we'd like to honor those who also serve our communities. Our new Community Champions account is especially for first responders, veterans, active military, and anyone employed in the fields of healthcare or education. This account offers rewards, discounts, and other benefits to those who give so much to others. Vinton County National Bank, rewarding those who serve.
All right. Well, let's go over that weather forecast. Thank you all so much. They left me vegetables. I cannot be more excited about that. So I'll have to cook up something good tonight. But let's go over that weather forecast for today. It is Wednesday, July 10th. They're talking about, I don't know, it's very windy out right now. Thank you all. And they're calling for a 20% chance of rain. I'm not sure whether it's going to do it or not, but what's it look like out there, Pete? You were just outside.
Well, I had to run home not too long ago, and it was actually kind of dark out there.
Okay.
Now the
We'll
phone
see.
says, the phone lies sometimes.
It does.
It says it's not supposed to rain, but it's supposed to be very windy here later today, maybe
Which is
even
odd.
a little bit now.
Yeah.
Very windy.
odd. It was very windy at my house when I left this morning. So, and again, that heat kind of goes up, of course. It is county fair week, so, you know, whatever. It's going to be hot. We all know that.
Guaranteed.
Yes, yes. So how are you doing this morning?
I'm doing okay. I want to start off by saying we just received an alert from the Jackson County Sheriff's Office. This is minutes ago, and it involves, a pretty busy county road near Wellston, Mulga Road,
Okay.
which connects the city of Wellston with State Route 32, if you can kind of see the map in your mind there. But at 199 Mulga Road, and I'm not exactly sure where that is on Mulga Road, but
Okay.
I gave you kind of like the end and the beginning of Mulga Road. There is a down tree and a power line, and both lanes are closed, so you're not going to get through there.
Oh, man.
So that's at 199 Mulga Road, and that was just minutes ago, literally. And the sheriff's office advises to please avoid the area because the crews are going to have to do some work. Two things, the tree and the power line. So
Okay.
it's a double duty there. All right, the next thing we want to tell you about is kind of like a dangerous situation which occurred yesterday afternoon, and it's come and gone, and it didn't turn out to be a big thing, but at the time it could have been a big thing, and that was a truck fire. This occurred mid-afternoon yesterday. Red Thompson Jr. had just come into work. He works the late shift. I sent him up there. He got this picture. In the background, you see the truck that's involved. That truck is a big service truck that is
Wow.
a paving truck. Roberts Paving Company, Roberts Paving Incorporated of Hillsboro. Now, they didn't mean to have a fire, obviously, and they didn't mean to stop in Jackson, but this is what happened.
Oh, no.
This was a potentially really dangerous situation. I'll tell you why in just a minute. The truck was on State Route 32 heading westbound. Perhaps they were on the job somewhere and heading back to Hillsboro. That's possible. I don't know that for sure. But they were westbound on 32 when the rear compartment of the truck, kind of down low on the rear wheels, one side of the rear wheels, the driver's side, caught fire. And I'm not sure whether the driver immediately knew it because it was on the tail end, but according to what I received, the information I received from Jackson Assistant Fire Chief Kyle Hickey, a motorist along 32, as he was approaching Jackson, kind of flagged him down and brought attention to the truck being on
you're
fire
on
or smoking
fire.
or something, right. And so the truck driver then pulled off 32 onto the exit ramp onto State Route 93 East Main Street.
Okay.
There. And crossed onto East Main Street, and the fire was becoming more apparent then. There were flames, there was smoke.
Oh,
I
my.
actually saw it from down here at our
I was gonna
office.
say pretty close to here.
Right, just a couple blocks down, and you could see the smoke in the air.
Wow.
And anyway, the truck pulled into a yard at 831 East Main Street. That is right by Rowdy's Smokehouse, just there near the Ralph Street intersection. And you could see flames and all like that. The driver was able to get out. The people at 831 East Main Street had noticed what was going on, and they directed the truck to pull into the front yard close enough to where they could try to use a garden hose
Okay.
to try to put out the fire. The driver was able to get out safely. They called the fire department. The sheriff's office and the police arrived first. One or both used fire extinguishers to kind of get the fire under control there. The fire department was not very far behind, and they finished the job. But here's the deal. Anytime you have a vehicle on fire, you've got a really dangerous situation because of the fuel.
Fuel, yeah.
Well, there's another angle to this. In the paving asphalt process, the sealing process, propane is used. And there was a propane tank on the
Oh, no.
Right, and so Assistant Chief Kyle Hickey, of course, who's trained and knowledgeable in these things, said that if the fire or the heat even would have reached the propane tank to a certain extent, it could have blowy. It could have gone.
Oh my
It could have
gosh.
been really serious, before the driver was able to get out, and it was a potentially dangerous situation to the firefighters and the law enforcement officers that were on the scene. They don't necessarily know about propane being on paving. The paving people know that. I didn't know that till I looked it up.
Right,
But
exactly.
propane's not the fuel for the truck. It's used in the paving process.
Okay.
But anyway, the driver was able to get out. A lot of damage to the rear part of the truck and the bed. But the truck itself was still sitting there. I'm not sure whether it's a total job or not. But a really potentially dangerous situation that we can't emphasize enough. When we report in the newspaper, on the radio, on TV. All these situations, they come and they go. It's a big deal when it happens, and then you forget about it. But many of these situations, including this one, were truly dangerous for the people that were around it, exposed to it.
Sounds that
And
way.
so, anyway, we have that story with a photo online already on the telegramnews.com, and of course, we'll be having that coverage in our Saturday paper as well. The timing of it was late enough that we weren't able to get it in our print edition, but trust me, we will have something in our Saturday paper.
Okay.
All right, some other things to report. This was in our Wednesday print edition, and this was the result. This was the conclusion of a major court case in Vinton County. It involved a Hamden man named David Longworth, age 46 years old. He had been indicted, 18-count indictment, for alleged rapes of 2 girls under the age of 13. This was back 6 or 7 years ago. The indictment was in 2018.
Okay.
For whatever reason, how the wheels of justice move and all the investigations, they take time. The trial did not occur until last February. There was a sitting judge by assignment, D. Dean Evans. I believe he had served in Gallia County. He might be retired and he serves by assignment. He was the trial court judge, and he passed sentence just last week on David Longworth. We should have a picture of him, Hayden, on there. Not Judge Evans, but David Longworth. But David Longworth was sentenced by Judge Evans to 2 life prison terms.
Oh.
Plus additional time for additional charges of gross sexual imposition. Let's go over the charges on Mr. Longworth. He was charged with 2 counts of gross sexual imposition. He also was charged with, there were multiple counts of rape, by the way, on those 2 girls who were both under the age of 10, actually, when it happened.
Oh, my God.
The law changes when you're 13 or under, but in this case, the girls were under 10 at the time. But anyway, there was also charges in addition to gross sexual imposition, possession of criminal tools for the use of sex toy on a child, endangering children, and aggravated possession of methamphetamine, all those charges. So the way it turned out, 2 life sentences plus 10 years on the gross sexual imposition. There was time charged on all these charges, but some of them were what they call concurrent, meaning that they run together. But when you add them up, the 2 life terms plus the gross sexual imposition that are not concurrent, it was 2 life sentences plus 10 years. I don't believe there's a chance for parole in this case.
Has he been incarcerated this entire time?
He has been incarcerated this whole time, waiting for, the sentence and so forth.
Yikes.
But Prosecutor William Archer, who was the prosecutor in Vinton County, and this actually started under a different prosecutor, but the current sheriff, Ryan Kane, investigated this. I believe he investigated it before he was sheriff. He was kind of like, the second in charge then, but he was the main investigating officer back in the beginning on this. But William Archer, gave us a news release on that, gave us several quotes, and he, of course, saluted the team for all the work they did, the prosecutor's office, the sheriff's office, the people in social services that were involved, because this was a child abuse case. But also, he gave credit to the 2 young ladies. I don't know how old they are now, but they were both willing to testify in detail about what happened to them. And, I mean, you can guess how hard that would be when you're victimized, at that age, and then to come back and have to talk about it in trial. A lot of times, they try to shield the victim, or the victim just can't do it. But obviously, from an evidence standpoint, there can't be anything that's more stronger than that, than what the victim says. There is Mr. Longworth right there. He is a Hamden resident. He is now 46 years of age, and he is in a state prison somewhere.
Okay.
All right. So another thing that we want to tell you about, this is a nice thing. We'll go to a nice thing.
Well, that's good.
Okay.
That was pretty bad, Pete.
We got a couple pictures that we want to run from the Vinton County Athletic Boosters 4th of July. A very special lady, Clara Jane Dodrell. Have you heard of Clara Jane?
I think so.
Okay, well, Clara, there she is right there.
Aw.
This is at the Queen's Luncheon that was held on Friday at the beginning of that 3-day celebration. Let me tell you how special Clara Jane is. First of all, her family is very prominent in Vinton County and MacArthur. Her husband was a MacArthur mayor at one time and was involved in government as well. Very prominent person and family in Vinton County. But Clara Jane Dodrell, in 1950, was the Vinton County Centennial Queen, all the way back in 1950.
Aww.
And she Vinton County was organized in 1850, so they had a big centennial celebration in 1950. Well, last year, the Miss Vinton County pageant, that we just talked about last week, they started a new award called the Clara Jane Dodrell Award, and it goes to a former Miss Vinton County who has always supported the Miss Vinton County program and has also been very active in supporting good things in Vinton County. This year, Penny Alzair was the winner of the Clara Jane Dodrell Award. Now that picture there, of course, Clara Jane seated. She is with a relative,
Yeah, Carol Dodrell.
Carol Dodrell sitting by her, and in the back is another guest who was here on Main Street TV. You can remember Constance White, who was very prominent in Vinton County and especially in the Wilkesville area. They were all at this invitation-only Queen's Luncheon.
Awesome.
Clara Jane, very proud of Vinton County, and I know just tickled to death to be in that position of being the Centennial Queen and getting this attention here the last couple of years. What an inspiration she was. All those queens were at that Queen's Luncheon. I'm guessing that there wasn't anybody more queenly and more respected than Clara Jane Dodrell. So,
right.
as far as coverage coming up, we want to tell you that there was a meeting last night of Colton Village Council. They made some changes on the fire department. We'll tell you about that.
Okay.
We'll tell you about some of the infrastructure projects coming up in the city of Jackson, ongoing and in the future. You see the work going on all over the place. We'll give you the update on that, street paving, and much more, actually. Also, we will be reporting on what is happening on a project just off Veterans Drive on what we call Tibbetts Drive. There's going to be some road work there that could lead to lots of jobs, and we'll tell you about that maybe tomorrow.
That's exciting.
So that's the hook for tomorrow.
Love that.
And of course, we've got a lot of advance information coming on the Jackson County Fair. I know we've got a lot of that with our guests this week on Main Street TV, but we've got a lot of in-depth reporting that is in Wednesday's edition of the paper, the schedule, a big preview story about what's going on at the fair. We have a story on the sports page about the harness racing. A lot of people like that. Remember, that's coming up pretty soon, Friday and Saturday evenings.
You got it.
So we got all that coming at you.
Just remember, it's the jockey with the prettiest outfit.
Oh, is that it?
That's the one you bet on.
Okay. Well, I kind of go by the names of the horses.
Okay. That's what Cheryl said too.
Okay.
Best
all right.
name.
Okay. Well, if you don't know anything else, why not?
I know. It's just as good as any other reason to bet on a horse, right?
That's right.
All right. Well, thank you all so much for tuning in. We greatly appreciate it. Thanks to all the gang from OSU Extension stopping by, and of course our good friend Pete for filling you in on the latest and greatest in news. So we will be right back here tomorrow. Have a great day, and we'll see you then. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
From breaking news to heartwarming stories, the Telegram is your ticket to the latest buzz in town.
Read your daily dose of local headlines, sports, and entertainment and more in hand and on paper.
Get a print and digital subscription for only $7.95 per month. Delivered fresh every Wednesday and Saturday.
Visit thetelegramnews.com or call 740-286-3023 today.
Don't just read the news, be a part of it.